Happy Halloween, all, and welcome again to the Weekend Coffee. I've decided to move ourselves into one of my favorite cafes in downtown St. Catharines, the Fine Grind Cafe, for today, because I want to tell you a story, a rather spooky story, given that it is Halloween. And you might notice that on this day, we carve these things known as jack-o'-lanterns. These lanterns actually come out of Irish folklore dating back at least into the 13th to 14th century. And there's stories of this type that date back as far as 800. So this is a long told story inside of Ireland. And I thought you might want to hear about Stingy Jack. Around this time, there was a man, Stingy Jack, a blacksmith by trade, but not by profession. Stingy Jack was a liar, a cheat, a braggart, a whoremonger. You name it, Stingy Jack had done it. He was also a bit of a miserly man, and this brought on his epitaph, Stingy. Stingy Jack's actions were so terrible that people compared him to the devil, and the devil himself had to come and meet Stingy Jack, deciding to take Stingy Jack down to hell with him. So the devil, knowing where Stingy Jack would be that night wandering the roads, walked out and played dead in the middle of the road. And Stingy Jack came upon this dead man, walked over to it. And there, the dead man stood up and said, "I'm Lucifer." Stingy Jack was scared by the fact that the devil was standing right in front of him. But remember, Stingy Jack, as much as he was stingy, terrible, any bad name you could say about him, he was also Irish. He also had a bit of the gab to him. So he says to the devil, well, you can't let me go to hell without a last drink now, can you? And the devil thought about it and thought, well, fair is fair. He was coming for his soul early. Sure, let's go down and get a pint. And so they walked down to the local tavern, and Stingy Jack ordered up his regular from the barkeep and sat down there and had a drink with the devil. And after his drink, the devil said, okay, it's time to go. And Stingy Jack opened up his pockets, revealing nothing, no coinage upon his person whatsoever. He says to the devil, well, I'm sorry, I don't got any coin. And seeing as how you're the one that's bringing me here, I thought you'd be paying. And the devil, of course, being the devil, why would he have any want for the earth's currency? And so Stingy Jack told him of a plan. I'll tell you what, you're the devil. You can transform into anything that you wish. Transform yourself into a silver coin. I'll pay the barkeep. And then later on, you transform yourself back and we'll go down to hell. And the devil thought about this and said, sure, and turned himself into a silver coin upon the table. And no sooner had he turned himself into a silver coin upon the table that Stingy Jack reached down, picked up said coin, and put it into a pocket. And inside of that pocket was a cross. Now, the devil, being the devil, is bound by that cross, the symbol of the Lord. So he couldn't transform back. So Stingy Jack walked out of the bar, and the devil said, let me out. I'm the devil. I'm Lucifer himself. So Stingy Jack said, no, I'm not going to let you out, because if I let you out, you'll take me down to hell. And the devil said, 10 years. I'll give you 10 years if you let me out. Well, the devil, being, true to his words when he does say them in contract form, Stingy Jack allowed the devil out, and the devil had to wait a decade to claim Stingy Jack. A decade passed, and Stingy Jack went along with his normal ways, his lying, his cheating, his braggartness, his whoring, his thievery. And a decade later, the devil returned. And the devil, of course, not wanting to be tricked by Jack a second time, didn't go to him at the bar, didn't go to him at the street, but went to him at his house. And the devil pounded on the door, and Stingy Jack answered and said, "Yes, I'm also a man true to my word. You can take me down to hell." And so Jack and the devil began the walk towards the gates of hell. And Jack saw an apple tree. He said, "Oh, listen, I haven't had dinner yet. Would you be so kind to climb up that tree and grab me an apple, seeing as how, we're headed down to hell, I'll not have anything to eat." Well, the devil was wary of Jack's tricks by this point, but Jack convinced him that he would have to hear his stomach rumbling the whole way to the gates of hell. So finally, the devil relented and climbed up the tree, picked the apple, and as he was coming down, he noticed something. He couldn't move down the tree no more. Jack had placed crosses around the base of the tree, trapping the devil up the tree. The devil, by this point, was rather annoyed by this whole fact. And finally, a deal was struck that the devil would never try to reclaim Jack's soul. Jack went on through the rest of his life, again continuing his ways of thievery, braggadociousness, whoring. If there was a sin on the 7 deadly sins, Jack engaged in it. And finally, Jack passed on at a ripe old age. Jack got to the gates of St. Peter. And as he got to the gates of St. Peter, the gates slammed shut. God himself had left instructions to never let Jack into heaven for all of his ways. So Jack went down to hell, hoping to be let in there. At least it's warm. There also, the devil barred his way, saying, "A deal's a deal. I can never let you in here because that's the deal that we have." Jack pled not to be left in purgatory, but the devil wouldn't relent. The only thing that the devil gave him was a solitary coal from hell. Jack now wanders in purgatory for the end of days, carrying that coal inside of a hollowed out turnip. That is the Jack of the lantern. That is why we place them at our doorways. For on October 31st, All Hallows Eve, the night before All Saints' Day, the barriers between the worlds collide. And when this happens, Jack wanders the earth once again, bearing others away into the darkness by the light of his lantern. So we place said lanterns at the gates of our houses so that travelers will not be tricked by Jack. I hope that you enjoyed this old story of Irish folklore and the history of the jack-o'-lantern, and that you enjoy a bit of a scare this Halloween. As always, stay safe and wash your hands.